My name is Pamela, and today I will talk about error is the difference between the actual value and the value indicated by the instrument, due to imperfections of the instruments and parasitic signals that affect the process. An example of this is when you measure something with a ruler, and you ask other people to measure the same object with the same ruler. Most likely there is difference between the measurements that each one took. The difference between each of those measures minus the actual measure of the object is the absolute error. Now, dividing the absolute error by the true value, which is the real measure of the object, will result in the relative error. The dynamic error occurs when the variable to be measured is not constant, and is the difference between the instantaneous true value and the value read by the instrument. For example, we have an ultrasonic sensor that measures the distance between it and my hand, that is changing its position. Let's say the sensor's reading in the third second is 20 centimeters, when in fact my hand was at 21 centimeters from the sensor that very moment. The dynamic error in this case would be of 1 centimeter. Static error occurs when the variable to be measured is constant, and it's the difference between the true static value and the true read by the instrument. Returning to the last example, let's say my hand stays there. Let's say the sensor reads 10 centimeters, but my hand was actually at 12 centimeters from the sensor. That means the static error is 2 centimeters. The mean absolute error is the average of all absolute errors at each point of the measure for all the values of the measured variable. For example, we have a pressure gauge with a measuring range of 0 to 10 bar, and we set it to measure a pressure that we know is 1 bar, so 1 bar will be our true value. But it turns out that the manometer reads 1.2 bar. Then we already know that the absolute error is 0.2, and we write it down. Then we set it to measure 2 bar, and write it down, and so on until we reach 10 bar. Now we take the average of the absolute errors we were scoring. The result will be the mean absolute error. If we measure the same variable with the same value with several instruments and the same true value, the sum of the errors that they each had when measuring the variable would result in the maximum possible error. If we sum up the square root of each of the maximum errors of the instruments, it would give us the total error of the measurement. It would give us the total error of a measurement. This is calculated because it is very difficult for all the instruments to have their maximum error at the same time in all measurement circumstances. And well, this will be all for today's video. If you think I was missing something or had a translation mistake, don't hesitate to leave your comment. I release new videos every Wednesday in Spanish and every Friday in English. Adios! And we set it to measure a pressure. Errors that